So we're back with another edition of Recruiter Fuel. And we're going to change gears this time a little bit and talk about a subject that is kind of taboo right now in light of everything going on. But today I've got with me again Mary Ann.
Yes.
And Andrew. And thanks for being part of the conversation. Diversity in recruiting, which was, we know everything, all the tension going on right now. It's probably the worst time we could have this discussion.
Yes.
But I think it's because it's the best time as a result of that. So I've got a couple of questions I wanted to get your input on.
Okay.
Number one, why is it even important for companies to hire or focus on diversity?
Me being a diverse candidate,
No.
an employee. I think, as you mentioned, in this time, we do need diversity. We need something different. In light of everything that's going on in our country, you know, the killings of black men by police officers, with our president, with his rhetoric that he speaks, we have to be diverse. Our country is not just one color. We have different cultures, we have different races, and by having a diverse candidate or a diverse team, it gives you more inclusiveness, if that's the right word to say. It keeps you together. It broadens the talent pool.
So one question on that, though, because I hear the conversation all the time, Andrew, then I'm going to ask you the same thing, is how is one related, you know, as you mentioned, the killing of black males and so forth, how is that related to the workplace? I
feel as though that me being a black woman in a very male-dominated, white-dominated field, it does play, and again, I'm sorry, maybe because of recent incidents that's happened in the past few days, I just think that we need more color, we need more swag, we need more variety.
Beyond color.
And
to experiences, to backgrounds, to everything.
All of that. Age,
no question.
Race, color, diversity, education, background, that all needs to be in the workplace. We don't have to have just that white, it's not just the white boys club anymore. We have to be diverse. We have to have a selection of people to see, and if you go to your website, you'll see different people of all background that work at this company. And that's the thing that you should do. It's the right thing to do.
Let's come back to Andrew. You're right.
I'm not diverse.
You're not diverse. So what's your thought on this whole subject?
It's good business. Let's face it, white people are not going to be the majority based on the way you look at the census data, you look at the way a lot of things are trending, you know, birth rates, all that sort of thing. And not only, like she said, it includes other people, but you get different perspectives. You can learn how to tap into different markets. You can be collaborative. Maybe, you know, we sell recruiting services or another company sells products to a group they never even had an idea they were going to look at. I mean, I think you just got to see green, and to do that, you know, not just our shirts here, really about more sales. It's getting a diverse group of people. And like she said, it's not just about skin color. It's about religion, education, and even age. And, you know, you're seeing more articles out there now that your grandmother or your mother should be working for your company. Sure. You can't have all millennials, regardless of what color.
Or all baby boomers.
Or all baby boomers. You know, you look at auto, they're really, really having a hard time getting younger to pass it on to future generations. And a lot of those people are just getting too old to do the work. So diversity really, I can't believe more companies aren't getting better about it quicker.
So two different opinions here, right? One is kind of the right thing to do, and I get it, and one is kind of the business thing to do. Why do so many companies get it wrong? Because it seems like it's happening all the time.
Because they don't want to think outside the box. They don't want to. They've been doing it this way for so long, and I don't want to. My name is this, and you just follow what I say.
Do you think it's because they don't understand the advantages
of
diversity? And why do people not understand the advantages of diversity? What do you think it is?
You know, part of it I think is fear. Change is difficult for people.
Yeah, it is.
The other thing is, you know, with some of the things that have happened, the incidents she mentioned, maybe people are a little afraid to bring in some of those diverse candidates. If they're not traditionally diverse, they don't know necessarily how to handle those kind of situations, and they're just not comfortable at the end of the day. Well, they're going to have to be. They're not really going to have a choice, because the companies that really look at diversity as a good thing and something that's necessary are going to flourish, while the ones that are not are just going to kind of lay behind a little bit.
How do you feel, Marianne, question for you to start, how do you feel about forced diversity in an organization?
I don't want to work there. I wouldn't want to work there.
Why?
Because they're not going to be open. they're going to look at that person under a microscope. They're going to say, oh, I told you, that's why we don't have these kind of people here. You have to have that openness. You have to be willing to change. You have to be mindful that this person is right now the minority in your company, and to make them feel engaged, like they're part of the team.
Andrew, you've been recruiting a long time. Yep. I'm sure, without saying any names, I'm sure you've experienced a client says, Andrew, I got to have somebody who's diverse, primarily African American. You've had that experience.
Regardless of who it is, I've had clients say, I need a woman, I need somebody young. And I say, well, do you need somebody that can do the job, or do you really just want somebody that checks these kind of boxes and really don't have any determination how they're going to succeed in this position at all? Not to saying there aren't people in that box that won't play for the role.
Of course.
It's one of those where I look at who, if I was doing the hiring, who has the skills. I don't care what they look like. But at the same time, I know that certain classes of people, certain groups of people have more advantages over others. I don't think you necessarily force diversity, but you look for some of the cream in the crop of the other areas, bring them in so you have that more inclusive team. You're not forcing it, but you're still getting the benefits of having different people on a team.
I had a discussion with a hiring manager a few days ago who actually came to us and said, I want to hire somebody who's an African American, and my preference would be an African American female. So I asked the question, why? And he said, because I was told to.
That's what I'm saying.
And I said, well, wait a minute. Let's set that off to the side for a second. Let's talk about the business case for it around the ideas that come out because of different cultures and so forth. By the end of the conversation, he had bought into the reason why, but it started with he was being told
That's what I'm saying.
to, which causes more problems.
Yes, it does.
And to me, that's one of the biggest issues of why it doesn't work is because it's being forced without being educated on. Is that, you think that's a fair statement?
Yeah,
yes.
It's PR. A lot of it is, okay, oh my gosh, we're behind on this. We got to get so-and-so of a certain color, of a certain whatever it is, or we got to get younger, whatever it is. It's just hurry up, and a lot of that is, it's probably some people that have been a little more divorced from the lower levels. They've been, and they're just trying to make a play and get in front of the cameras one way or another. It's just
my token diversity talent.
There you go. Is really what it comes down to. And again, the forced stuff can be forced. Anything can be harmful, but if you can really find a way to kind of integrate that, bring people in if there's not a lot, make everybody see the value, make them feel welcome, and then they'll naturally probably bring more of those kind of people in, and it'll end up balance itself out a little bit.
From a business owner's perspective, statistically, the most profitable companies also have the greatest diversity because of the change in ideas and the thought process and so forth. So aside from not forcing, if you could give one or two pieces of advice to an organization around this whole idea of diversity and inclusivity, what would that one or two pieces be, Marianne?
That we are people too. We are educated. We are people who bring something to the table. We are educated people who have, and I don't want to go back into history, but we have a lot to bring to the table, and keep your mind open and not think of it as being forced. We are all human beings. And we have some say, and we can bring some value.
You got some value.
Company.
You've been here how long with our organization, Marianne?
Steve, why are you going to
put
me on the spot?
Plus or minus?
12 years.
Because of why?
Because I like working here.
Well, no. Why do you think we have you here for 12 years?
Because I'm good.
Exactly. Do you think it's actually your color?
No.
That's a perfect example of what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Andrew, I thank you, Marianne. Andrew, what about you? The one or two pieces of advice from the position you sit in, which happens to be, like me, a non-diverse male, what advice would you give to an organization?
I just think that, as you said, the most diverse companies are some of the most profitable. I mean, aren't we all in the game for profits? I mean, you can't just bring anybody in. You got to look at where you're selling, where you haven't penetrated, where you're not covering. Maybe start there and look to bring in people from those groups so that you can get different ideas and have different ways to get your product or your message out there. I just think you have to, as far as the way the demographics and the trends are going.
It's dictated at this point in terms of where things are going, so we have to be able to embrace it and make the best of it. Look, guys, I know, gals, I know this has been a difficult conversation, but it's something that we've kind of skirted around, and at this point we decided, let's have a real dialogue about it, because I think that's part of the problem. Too many people are not willing to have a dialogue about it, and we don't have to agree on everything.
That's true.
Part of diversity is understanding the differences that we have, and that's okay.
That's right.
Is it not?
Definitely.
Listen, again, thank you for that. We're going to be talking more about this in future. Guys, this has been another edition of Recruiter Field. Thank you for joining us. It's a great topic, a topic that we're going to be talking more about. Check us out next week.